The popularity of JIRA for project management has led to Syndeia supporting a variety of use cases. In this video, we will provide a brief overview of those cases supported in Syndeia 3.3. These are reference connections, generating JIRA issues from SysML, model transform connections with default mappings, model transform connections with custom mappings, and model transform connections for JIRA GitHub Issues, a special case. Reference connections can be created between JIRA issues and model elements in any of the tools Syndeia supports. In the Syndeia dashboard, on the Connection Manager tab, I can load and expand the JIRA repository in one column and any of the other repositories in the other. In this case, my SysML model. I create a reference connection by choosing that option in the center column and dragging an element from one side onto an element on the other. This creates a reference connection. A reference connection does not share information, but it has several useful features. From the SysML model, I can directly launch JIRA in my web browser and view the linked issue directly. Here, I will edit the JIRA issue to create a new version. Back in the Syndeia dashboard, I can call for a comparison across the connection. The comparison result shows red, indicating a new version of the JIRA issue has been created since the connection was last updated. I can update it again by selecting Sync Source to Target or Target to Source. Since no information is transferred, the direction makes no difference. A reference connection can be set up between any model elements, for example, between a wind chill part and a JIRA issue. One JIRA issue can have multiple connections to multiple models, potentially becoming a common hub for collecting and sharing project management information about status, activity, and schedule for team members working with different tools. In the first case, the reference connection was between two existing model elements. We can also let Syndeia do the issue generation for us. In package J2, I have a multi-level requirements hierarchy in SysML. If I drag the top-level requirement into a JIRA project, I can create a set of JIRA issues, each issue with a reference connection to the corresponding requirement. This saves us from having to create each issue separately and link them individually. We can also use one feature unique to the JIRA interface to call Summarize Connected Artifacts from the SysML model and see a table of some current issue properties. If we use a reference connection to open one of the JIRA issues, we can see that the issues are linked on the JIRA side by the Relates To relationship. When we demonstrate custom mappings later, we will see how the relationship mapping between SysML and JIRA can be determined by the user. Reference connections do not share data. Sometimes we wish the same data to appear in two different domains. Syndeia supports this use case with model transform connections. If we take a SysML block structure and drag it into JIRA with a model transform connection, several things happen. Three new issues are created in JIRA, 3 new connections are created in Syndeia, and JIRA attribute values are written back to the SysML blocks by applying a new stereotype with tag value fields for those attributes. Now we can compare across the connections and see not only if the JIRA issue version has changed, but if any of the common attributes have changed. If we change an attribute value for one of the blocks or delete a relationship, we can compare and see the specific differences. In this case, it does matter whether we sync source to target or target to source. The previous example uses Syndea's default mapping between SysML and JIRA, but Syndea also has the option of creating custom mappings, specifying how artifact types, attributes, and relationships map between the two domains. As an example, let's take a JIRA task, Test Flight Performance, which blocks a JIRA bug, loss of flight control, and clones a JIRA new feature issue, new wing design. We want the task to transform to a SysML activity, and we also want the linked issues to be brought over as blocks with specific SysML relationships to that activity. To enter the custom mapping mode, we go to Settings, choose Use Mapping, and click Apply. Under the Mappings tab, we have created a mapping to do all these in one pass. Task maps to activity. A mapping table for their attributes is added. The relationship mappings link SysML traces dependency to JIRA clones and refines to blocks. Finally, related mappings identify how the elements at the end of those relationships map, which can include attribute and relationship mappings of their own. Building a robust custom mapping can take effort, as well as some depth of knowledge of the tools being connected. But once created, it can be saved and distributed to other users in a simple file. To execute the transform, we go back to the Connection Manager and drag the task into an empty package in SysML. Several custom mappings might apply. We choose the one we just viewed. Back in SysML, we see the artifacts and relationships just created, along with the common attributes. Compare and sync work as before. The ultimate objective of Syndea is to support model transform for all the tools supported, anything to anything. But this is being implemented incrementally. One use case that Syndea 3.3 supports is JIRA issue to GitHub issue. I can set up the Connection Manager with GitHub on the left, JIRA on the right, or vice versa, model transform in the middle, and drag a JIRA issue into a GitHub project, where it creates a GitHub issue. With this particular feature, each issue has a hyperlink in its comments section to the issue at the other end of the connection. More information about most of these use cases is provided in the hands-on exercises and some of the earlier videos. Contact us with questions or comments about these training materials through our online help desk at www.intercax.com/help.